Ride along each week as we share proven strategies to strengthen your business, energize your team, and create the business success you've been dreaming about. And now, here's your host, Rich Allen.
Have you created a brand that speaks clearly to your ideal customers? Welcome to the Ultimate Business Tune-Up Podcast, where our one and only goal is to help you tune up your business so you can have the long-lasting success and fulfillment that comes from owning a solid, profitable, and sustainable business. Each week we dive deep into a single topic related to improving your business, improving your team engagement, or improving your relationship with your customers. Today I want to work with you on a topic that probably gets very little of your daily attention, but it perhaps is the most valuable asset you have in your business. No, I'm not talking about tuning up your vehicle, nor am I thinking about remodeling your office. That is, unless your vehicle or your office are important to how you show up to your ideal customer. If they are, then I may be talking about both of these very directly. This most valuable asset in your business is your brand. And today I'd like to spend a little time taking you through a little brand building exercise. But before we dive into the details, let's be clear on what I mean by your brand, because not everyone has the same idea when it comes to this particular word or concept. For example, if you're a rancher in West Texas, or if you happen to be my insurance client in Salina, Texas, who also raises cattle for a living, you may think of your brand as the identifying mark burned on livestock. Or if you work for a large consumer goods corporation, you may think of your brand as the particular name of a product manufactured by a particular company. And while both of these are brands, they're not the brand I want to focus on today. The definition of brand that I want us to think about is this: a product or a business that has a distinct identity in the perception of the consumer. And specifically, I want us to spend a few minutes discussing your brand identity, which can be identified as the collection of individual components such as name, design, images, slogans, visions, writing style, fonts, or symbols, which set the brand aside from others in your category. That's why my question for you today is, have you created a brand that speaks clearly to your ideal customers? You see, I believe that even the smallest business can set themselves apart from a much larger competitor if they're intentional and purposeful in the creation, communications, and execution of their brand through their brand identity. To make this very personal, the key part of this belief is that you, the business owner, must be intentional and purposeful as you create, communicate, and execute your brand. In fact, everything you do in your business that can be seen by your ideal customer must be in alignment with your brand. It's how you get your ideal customer to recognize you at a glance, even when they're not really looking or interested. But far too often, business owners stop short of creating a brand identity. They may have developed a company logo and may even have put the logo on shirts that their team wears, but they don't think to take the concept of brand identity any further. Today, I want to ask you a few questions that should be considered as you create a brand that speaks directly to your ideal customer. Let's start with a few of the basic questions you need to answer, and I'm going to share my thoughts regarding my business on each of them as we go along. Number 1, what problem or problems do you solve? In order to create a brand that speaks directly to your ideal customer, you must be crystal clear on the problems that you solve for them. Your answer to this question doesn't have to be complicated or sophisticated, just direct and to the point. For example, the problems I solve for my ideal customer are the frustration, anxiety, and uncertainty of being a business owner. What's the problem or problems that you solve for your ideal customer? Number 2, who specifically do you solve the problem for? The answer to this question should be as specific and targeted as possible. The narrower your focus, the more likely you'll be able to speak directly to that person. For example, my specific who is an owner-operator business owner who prefers not to be in the operator mode. Who specifically do you solve the problem for? Number 3, how do you solve their problem? This answer may take some time to think through. You don't want to describe a long, drawn-out, step-by-step process, but rather articulate a tight summary of how you solve their problem. For example, my how is to provide regular, ongoing, one-to-one coaching, assist in hiring great team members, and facilitate the strategic planning process to keep the business moving forward. What is your how to solve the problem your ideal customer is facing? And lastly, number 4, what's the ultimate benefit you help them achieve? In other words, what will your ideal customer get as a result of using your products or using your services? What will their life look like in the future after they've worked with you or your company? Again, for example, I relieve my ideal customer's frustration, anxiety, and uncertainty by helping them grow faster, make more profit, and enjoy the ride more as a business owner. What are the benefits your ideal customer gets from working with you and your team? Once you've answered these 4 basic questions, then you can move into the more detailed and nuanced questions regarding your brand. These may take more time and effort to think through, but they're critical to creating your brand identity. Here's the first one. What are your values? Using just 3 to 5 words, what does your business stand for? We all have specific and unique values that we bring to our ideal customers. Your values are what will create the most significant uniqueness from your competition. For example, in my business, our unique values are clarity, confidence, and commitment. Everything we do is centered around these unique values. What does your business stand for? What are your values? Here's the second one. What's your brand personality? If your brand was a person, who would it be? Where are they from? And how would you describe them? This question opens up a wide range of expression. The answers will tell your ideal customer a lot about you, whether you're serious or playful, energetic or calming, fired up or soothing, a rule follower or more freeform, artistic or athletic, the list goes on. I'll give you my example as a way to help. If my brand were a person, it would be the winner of the Tour de France, the most challenging sporting competition in the world. Ideally, for me, this person would be from the United States. Ideally, someone like Greg LeMond, the winner of the 1986 Tour de France. I would describe him as not an overwhelming favorite, but someone who worked hard, was unwilling to quit, and overcame significant odds to beat some of the best European cyclists at the time to become the first American to stand atop the winner's podium. As you can imagine, my brand color is yellow, representative of the yellow winner's jersey. My brand theme is Ride Hard, which you hear at the end of each podcast. But enough about mine. What's your brand identity? Take some time to develop this and answer the questions we just discussed. And one last question to consider. If you were to describe your business in a single sentence that is structured like this, I'm this, but not that, how would you complete the sentence? A good example might be something like, I'm an expert but not a know-it-all. Or perhaps it may be something like, I'm confident, but not cocky. Give this some thought and try it out on someone you trust. If you can describe your brand in this way, it can be very powerful and impactful. I hope you found this to be helpful. I know it's not something you spend much time thinking about, but as you think about the assets of your business, this is one asset that needs to be tuned up from time to time. I know I've found it valuable to revisit this topic on a regular basis and refresh my personal brand identity. Thanks for allowing me to play along with you on this today. If you'd like some help working through these questions to get clarity on your brand identity, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. I'd be glad to help you brainstorm some ideas and find the clear uniqueness that will speak directly to your ideal customers. Now, before we go, 2 quick asks. Share this podcast with your fellow business owners. I'm trying to get these free business tips to as many business owners as possible. I want every business owner to be successful, and this is my gift to you and to them. Thanks for passing this along. And lastly, please leave a review on this podcast. The more thumbs up this podcast gets, the more it will be found when someone's stuck or struggling and looking for advice. Your review can help make this happen. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure to tune in next week when we're going to discuss the road less stupid. You won't want to miss it. Meanwhile, if you have a question, suggestion, or would simply like to connect, shoot me an email at rich@tourtoprofit.com. Now go make it a great week, and whatever you do, ride hard.
Thank you for listening to the Ultimate Business Tune-Up. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In the meantime, find more resources at tourtoprofit.com and connect with Rich by sending a message to rich@tourtoprofit.com. Until next time, ride hard.